Guys, Justin once again, and I'm coming to you talking about part 3 of the Q&A with Mike and Bruce. Hopefully you're still with me. I know this is a lot to listen to, but it's just I gotta let you guys know what happened there. It was a lot of fun. And if you've been on my Facebook, you may have seen this. This is going to appear backwards. Hopefully I can flip this when I get on YouTube. But this is on my Facebook Beach Boys photo folder, Endless Vibrations. This was the local Hoosier Times, and this was out last February 8th, Sunday before. And so these were also out, and I found one of these at a restaurant. And this is what I posted recently on a Facebook group, how it talks about performing songs from That's Why God Made the Radio. That didn't make the set list, which I find really odd. It's not, I don't know if it's false advertising. It's just weird that they mention that and don't do it. But whatever. Can't hold them accountable. What am I going to do? Call them back and have them come over and perform it? Yeah, right. They went on to talk about how did Scott Totten get involved. And obviously he's a very young guy. And he's musical director of, Mike and Bruce's group. And someone had mentioned to me how it may be odd. Jeff Foskett has been touring with the Beach Boys since mid-'80s, early 80s. And how odd it might be to listen to Scott, who's a younger guy, as a musical director. I'm not saying he's his boss or anything. Just thought maybe it'd be a little different. I don't know. So anyway, Scott just kept hanging around gigs. They didn't really go over it. They kind of glossed over it. But they said, he started playing guitar for him and went on to be a musical director. And he's trying to restore the arrangements to what the original arrangements are. So when some people say, oh, well, they perform in a much lower key, Scott takes the as a director, takes it to another level and makes it the original key and maybe brings it up even higher. So with having Scott and Randall and Jeff on vocals, they can do that, because they're pretty amazing. And Mike's voice is held up pretty well. Alan Boyd had told me that I believe Mike stopped drinking dairy to help his throat. He had some type of allergy, and so his voice had kind of diminished a little bit. And with not drinking or intaking any dairy, his voice is even more smooth now and even improved, because of that allergy. He stopped doing it. That's very amazing. I hadn't heard that. Let's see here. Someone asked what their favorite era of Beach Boys time it was to live, their favorite period. Bruce said Sunflower, which he's been known to say that his favorite time. Mike says, with technology being better these days, to replicate the songs even in a better way, his favorite period is yet to come. So I don't know if that means he kind of mentioned, performing at the Royal Albert Hall, that's his favorite time to come. And that may be a hard question to talk, that might be a hard thing to talk about. There could be some harsh memories throughout, the whole career, their lives. So I can understand maybe not totally picking out something from the past. Let's see here. They did say, one of their high points was July 4th, 1985, that, the concert they played there. And they mentioned Jimmy Page was with them as well playing. Talked about Endless Summer being a high point as well when that released. And Mike doesn't look back that often, which I find ironic. And I sat there next to my friend Jeff and I said, he actually had Looking Back with Love sitting on vinyl, to get signed. And I'm like, what? He doesn't look back. He looks back with love all the time, you know? Ding. Anyway, went on again about Royal Albert Hall being a great place to play, and so is Carnegie Hall. Someone asked him, what is the Maharishi's influence on Mike? He talked about his birthday in Rishikesh, the Beatles, Donovan being there, and you know how the Maharishi would say, "Go meditate as long as you can." And Prudence of the Dear Prudence fame went on and meditated for days, and that made me think, oh, that's why Mike has previously played Dear Prudence in his shows. And so he learned how to meditate in December of '67, I believe. Let's see here. He mentioned that Pisces Brothers would be performed tonight. He wrote it when George Harrison died. He was given the painting on his birthday of Guru Death. And so I think that painting does appear on the video screen in the background of the Beach Boys shows or Mike and Bruce shows on the background screen. They talked about kind of living life, how those who got into meditating, John Lennon, Dennis Wilson, they both mentioned how they got into meditating, but then they also got into like alcohol and heroin, and how people were looking for a way out. And so he just thought that was mind-boggling because, he got so much from meditation. But it might not be might not be their thing, I'm not here to answer for them. Their lives have already been lived. I'm just talking about what they meant, what they talked about. He questioned, is this life supporting or is this not? That's how he kind of lives his life. One of the kids in the class asked about the county fair, the song from Surfing Safari, and said, what is behind the koala bear? What's with the lyrics? And I kind of even forgot it was about they got a koala bear or something, and when they won it, and just talked about, I don't know, no one really answered it. The professor kind of talked about it. It was kind of funny that they brought that up. I feel like that may be a Gary Usher, Brian Wilson pin song, but it could be Mike and Brian. I can't remember. Jeff Foskett talked about the first time he met Bruce. It was on a plane for 24 hours, and they just talked and talked and talked. Let's see here. This is about the last page of the notes, I believe. Someone asked how the set list moves. Jeff Foskett said it's unique to him, or let's see here, how it moves, what they do. It was unique to him. It was quite an adjustment period going from Brian's band to Mike's band, because in between songs at Brian's shows, he got a break to get a drink and catch his breath. Mike's shows, they go bam, 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 5 songs in a row, and they're not done until they have the intermission. So he said that was quite an adjustment. Someone asked what was the current music appeal. The appeals to them, Mike said Bruno Mars. Bruce said he didn't like the halftime show at the Super Bowl. That was interesting. Another question we all kind of know stuff about, but I still want to bring it up. Someone asked about Bruce on his work with The Wall, with Pink Floyd. Now that's something you don't hear Bruce talk about that much. That is cool. He said Pink Floyd was to me and wanted to be the Beach Boys to sing on The Wall, which I'm sure we all know. But for some reason they couldn't show up to the studio. And Bruce called up Waters and still wanted to be a part of it. I believe Bruce still has Waters demos for The Wall. How cool is that? And so He said they were supposed to sing for him, but they didn't. So he got a couple people together. I feel like Tony Tennille's on that as well. That also, they went into talking about Elton John getting the bass influence of God Only Knows, and he used that. I don't know if it was for Don't Let the Sun Go, or Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. I don't know if it was for specifically that song, but he was just influenced by that bass. I can't remember if that goes together or not, but my sentence kind of runs together. But Bruce said he was just lucky hanging out in the studio like other times he's done backing vocals. And when they were doing Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Bruce called up Carl, Billy Hinchy, I believe, and Tony Tennille and was like, hey, you guys want to do the backing vocals for this Elton song? And they just happened to do it. Someone asked about the definitive version of Smile. And they really didn't go on about this. I think Mike said wonderful sounds, amazing. That's personally like something he really likes, the song, but it's more about personal taste. Alan Boyd mentioned the montage of backing vocals was the most satisfying thing that he got to do through that Smile sessions. Bruce said years ago. I think someone asked about performing other things than Disney Girls. Bruce said years ago in England he would do Tears in the Morning, and he really liked to do I Write the Songs. It's like his version of a hymn that's about a God, or about God, not a God. And then they're talking about promotion. Oh, I had asked Mike. And I had talked to Mike about this on his Facebook a year ago. I said, Mike, when are you going to put out Looking Back with Love, First Love, Celebration? When are you going to re-release this stuff officially rather than just on vinyl than what it was? And he said that, he's waiting for the right time, and he's been in the studio and kind of done stuff with that. He feels like he needs to wait for the right time. He went in to actually talk about an example of waiting for the right time. They were going to promote somewhere near Japan with Capitol, and at the same time they were promoting Duran Duran. Capitol was, and so Capitol just chose Duran Duran over somewhere near Japan. And he said, he just needs to pick the right time. It's like sending a child out to run on traffic. So he didn't really, doesn't feel it's the right time. So I really hope he does. And so this finishes up part 3, and this will conclude the Q&A. I know this was taking forever, but I really wanted to get this out there to let everybody know what was going on. So anyway, that's all I had for this. And real quick, I did have some records with me. I got Bruce to sign up here on That's Why God Made His Radio, and Scott Totten too, because he did vocals on this. Funny enough, when I handed this to Bruce, he said, I hate that album. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't have anything else for you to sign. It was kind of weird, and he was like, well, I asked him why he doesn't like the album. He said, well, it's the producer, the way he made our vocals sound, it was auto-tuned, and I hate the way I sound auto-tuned. And so he really doesn't like the song, or the album. I had this ready for Mike to sign, but he was going out the door, and I really don't like bugging people for autographs. If they need to go, they need to go. I'm not going to just be like, hey, come on, sign this. I don't know. It's not my style. No offense to anybody who does that. So, and I had Alan Boyd sign this finally. He signed one of my books for me, but it had nothing to do with him. It was a Beach Boys book, but that was a couple years ago. So I finally had the Smile Sessions record on me, and I had him sign right there on the window. So anyway, I just thought that was cool. So next up, I will give my review and what I thought about the Mike and Bruce concert from last Sunday, February 15th. Thank you for watching and take care.